The world of golf is currently at the center of some serious controversy, which has stemmed from the Saudi-led rebellious Golf League. Even though golfers are some of the richest sportsmen in the world, the thirst for more money can't be quenched. Apparently, there's a new controversial sucker punch delivered to the PGA by Greg Norman. Let's take a look at what that means for future PGA events. First up, Greg Norman's cash-rich revelation. Greg Norman's Rebel Golf League was dealt a blow after the PGA Tour announced that it won't be releasing players and won't be allowing them to play in the LIV Golf International that starts next month. It was one of the many blows the Saudi-backed and Norman-led Rebel League have exchanged with the PGA Tour, and one of many more that we'll continue to see in the coming years. The response from Greg Norman has definitely put the PGA under some sort of stress. That's because he announced that the funding from Saudi Arabia for his breakaway tour totals 2.9 billion Australian dollars. It more or less confirms Saudi Arabia's intentions of launching the league and how they won't back out of it, even if the PGA Tour somehow retains the big names in golf for now. Even if the PGA ignores this development, it's not hard to understand how this will impact the future of golf. An entire country is backing the development of a breakaway league, and it's not just any state. It's one of the mega oil-rich Gulf states, Saudi Arabia, which is focused on sports washing its international image by shelling out billions of dollars in the sporting world. Having the former world number one, Greg Norman, in their ranks helps them massively. Plus, he's not the only one who's joined, and it'll be a concern for the PGA Tour that even before the launch of their first event, the Rebel Golf League has 19 confirmed participants in their upcoming tournament. What happens when the other top golfers realize the amount of money they're missing out on? Greg Norman, guys had money in their pockets. In another blasting interview, Norman revealed that Phil Mickelson's comments hurt the development of the Rebel League more than the efforts of the PGA Tour. He explained that the Rebel League had at least 15 of the world's top 50 players under contract and ready to play in the league. Norman added that they've already paid the players to participate in the LIV Golf International Series, and if not for Mickelson's damaging comments, more players would have openly signed up. As it turns out, Mickelson hurt himself and the PGA Tour with his comments too. He called the Saudis scary motherfuckers and criticized their human rights record, but went on to say that he'd still want to participate in the tournament because he wanted leverage over the PGA Tour. It was a shocking development, and it changed the schedule of the breakaway league, according to Norman, because some players got scared and returned the money fearing lifetime bans. It also meant that the tournament wasn't launched in February. Now it'll be interesting to see what Mickelson does next month. He's been vocal about his participation in the Rebel League, and it's not been confirmed if he does so now following the backlash. Norman explained how the players have the freedom of choice and have an open door, and it's down to Mickelson to decide where he'll participate. Doesn't sound like a threat. And now, the grand plan of the Saudi-backed Rebel League. As we mentioned before, Greg Norman has around 3 billion Australian dollars funding to build his breakaway LIV series of 54-hole events into a full league in the next 2 years. The Saudis aren't stopping at anything when it comes to golf, and the first event is set to take place from the 9th of June to the 11th of June in London. All of LIV Golf's 48 events will feature a prize fund of a staggering $36 million, and Norman talked about how this would tempt more top players into joining the league eventually. He elaborated on his point by saying that he hopes a young player ranked very low wins the tournament, so that the top players realize how they can easily beat these players and win the insane amount of money available. Can't lie, he's right, because even with the threats of lifetime bans, many players are willing to go all in with it. Imagine how it changes once the first prize money is given out. 10 more tournaments are planned for the 2023 calendar year, and then 14 more will take place in 2024. Norman says that his vision of the breakaway league extends decades into the future. He calls 2022 and 2023 beta years to tempt top players, and it seems to be working, even though they had to deal with a minor setback due to Mickelson's comments. It'll be a challenge, as the PGA and the DP World Tour will make it as hard as possible for the breakaway league to be a success. Up Up to now, Phil Mickelson won't be able to defend PGA Championship. Lots of people saw it coming, and now that it's confirmed, it raises more questions rather than answering them. Phil Mickelson won't be defending his PGA Championship, which he won so heroically last year. He'd become the oldest player to win a major championship at 50 years old, and 1 year later, he's in the news again, but for something entirely different. Mickelson's decision to not participate is definitely linked to the Saudi-backed LIV Golf Invitational Series. His decision to not feature in the PGA Championship could mean one of two things. It could mean that he's not ready to face the media and fellow players in the championship after his controversial comments and major participation in the breakaway league. This seems unlikely because Mickelson isn't one to shy away from controversy. He's got a pretty controversial career. Great one, but controversial too. Then again, he missed out on the 2022 Masters for the first time in his career, even though he wasn't injured. On the other hand, this decision could mean that we see Mickelson involved in the LIV Golf Invitational Series on the 9th of June. He has advocated for it, despite his controversial comments. Surprise, surprise. And it wouldn't be beyond Mickelson to turn up. After all, it's not like the PGA has managed to mend things with their unhappy millionaire golfers. Then again, is it possible to mend things? Now, in other related news, LIV Golf Invitational Series to be shown on YouTube. The Rebel Golf League's first tournament is the LIV Golf Invitational Series. They're going all out in ensuring it's a tournament to remember. The organizers, in a bid to lower the average age of golf viewers, have decided to broadcast the inaugural event live on YouTube and livegolf.com. It's part of their short-term strategy to hit the ground running and to make sure they don't have to deal with many hiccups as they plan to rival the PGA Tour. The announcement of this news came in an explosive press conference in London, where Greg Norman, the CEO, controversially claimed that everyone has made mistakes, pointing to the Saudi regime's brutal murder of the Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi, 2018. It may have been a damage control decision by the Rebel League, considering not many TV channels would be interested in airing the LIV Golf Invitational Series, particularly after those comments. PGA Tour blocks members' requests. The PGA Tour is fighting fire with fire in its battle against the Greg Norman-headed Rebel League that plans on breaking away from the PGA Tour. It's been a rough few months for the PGA Tour as it decides to take calculated decisions to win the battle against the Rebel League. There's nothing straightforward when it comes to dealing with the oil-rich backing of their rivals, as they have a lot of money to offer the participants, but the tour will be hoping it can coerce its members by blocking their requests. Earlier, they'd also threatened to impose life bans on players that participate in the LIV Golf Invitational Series, and that could yet be a step they take. There's not much room for error for the PGA Tour. They also can't overdo their stance, as it could backfire. As it stands, they still have the backing of 81 out of the top 100 golfers, and that's a good place to start. Justin Thomas tells Rebel League signees to just go. Justin Thomas, the world number 8, has told the signees of the LIV Golf Invitational Series to leave the PGA Tour and join the Saudi-backed Rebel League. He explained that he won't be doing the same, and he remains committed to the tour and believes that the ones who want to go should go and shouldn't just threaten about leaving. Thomas pointed out that everyone's free to do what they want, and he remains loyal to the tour, but if he wanted to go play the other tour, he would have done so. The problem for players who want to go and join the Rebel League is the severity of the punishments. It's not been confirmed how strict a stance the PGA Tour will take against the players that do join the Greg Norman golfing block. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think the Saudi-led Rebel Golf League should be allowed to go ahead? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one. See you in the next